Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live session with my beautiful social shell, Sam. Sam, where are you from? Just tell us quickly where are you from while I'll check if this live is live.
No, that's fine. So I am from a little town called Boston in Lincolnshire in England. So it's a very small town. Not many people live here. So yeah, I'm excited to get out and about from here, really.
Yay! And you've just finished the social shell program this week. That
Yeah.
Sunday was the last day. And yay, you just said out and about. So what are your next plans?
So part of the reason I was attracted to the social shell, shall I say, was because you were literally living my dream life in Bali. So I was like, oh my God, I need to do whatever this girl is doing. That is my life that I want to be doing. So on the 3rd of November, my husband and I are going traveling for a year. And so I know I wanted something that would give me that freedom, that would let me travel with it. And also in terms of like not having to return back to a 9 to 5, like that was massive for me. I want that freedom. I want to be able to base myself from wherever. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. So I was like, right, if I want to do that, then I need to find something that's going to sustain that. And then this is where this business came from.
Yay, that's so excited. And I remember on our first application call, you were on a completely different spot than you are now, like even like your spark and everything. So how do you remember, like, how was it for you before you joined the program? Like, what was maybe holding you back, or how were you feeling in general about, like, everything like online programs or stuff like that?
Yeah, to be honest, I think at that point, I didn't actually know the vast amount of businesses that there are out there in terms of online businesses. And I think maybe I was a little bit naive to that. And I was just kind of like, okay, this sounds like a program that I can get on board with. And the fact that I can do it from anywhere and everywhere, then obviously that's a bonus. And so literally like that's what attracted me to begin with. But the anxiety before signing up is unreal. Like I can completely sympathize with people. It's a massive step to kind of speak to somebody that's a complete stranger on the phone and like basically give your life story of why you want to be part of that business, and then like to invest is massive. And I know I've done like some stories and stuff about investing, but it's so important in terms of investing in yourself. And I think we're not used to doing that. Like I did my degree like a few years ago, but whatever, like that's no big deal kind of thing. So like to actually invest in yourself and to put that money aside for you and for your business, that's massive. So but there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of mindset stuff that we've got to deal with first. But yeah, it was exciting as well, but really nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Oh my God, I never thought of that. That's the first time I hear, like, yeah, you talk to a complete stranger, right? Like you've never even like, and then I turn on the camera as well. But I do believe like the reason why I love that is so that I could get to know you guys beforehand and you get to know me, because maybe I don't vibe with you or for whatever reason. Well, and then you started the social shells, and how was that for you? Like the whole program, like, be honest, you can say whatever you want to.
Well, no, I loved it. I loved the social aspect. I'll be honest, to begin with, like I've just said, to go on camera and to speak to other people, the first week, everyone's really awkward because they're like, hi, like, and it feels a bit like it is quite awkward that first week. And you kind of think, oh God, why have I got to do these calls? But actually, by like week 2, 3, 4, whatever, you start to actually see the real benefit of it, especially when you start your Instagram account and you start your business account and you need followers and you need friends. And that is when these girls come in handy, because literally like my first follower, as you know, my first follower on my business account was my husband. Bless him. He literally started following me, but it was a good like 5-10 minutes until anyone else started following. I was thinking, oh my God, do I just get rid of this profile? Like clearly, I'm not meant to be a social media manager, whatever. And then I put it on the Slack community, which is the group that all us girls talk on. And literally within like half an hour, everyone had commented and everyone had started following me and stuff. So it's just that real like community feeling, and that support that's there is 100%.
I love that. And I remember that very well. And it was funny because, so of course, just to give you guys a little bit of context, I give you all an action plan. And of course, the idea is to implement as much as you can during the program, because I don't want you to consume all the content and then later on, a month later, you rewatch the videos and you're like, hang on, I don't really get that. Or you start doing it yourself and you see like, oh, it doesn't work for me. So then you need help, right? So that's why I give you those action plans. And also so that I can push you to do it. And I know I had to push you quite a while to do Instagram stories. I remember you messaged me in your private Slack channel. So you guys have always a private channel with me where you can ask me stuff that you don't want to share right away with the group. And while you messaged me, at least 5 other girls messaged me and saying, I don't want to put it in the main community, but I feel insecure. And I said, you guys, that's why we have the main community, so that you see everyone feels like that. No one wakes up, apart from those who are super good on camera in the beginning, and just feels like, I'm going to do an Instagram story. So how was that for you? I know it was massive.
Yeah. And I think as well with that, like, literally one of your biggest things that you said that really stuck with me was about branding. And we all had that discussion, didn't we? All of us were saying, oh, like, we're a little bit nervous about putting our brand out there, and what about if the colors aren't right, and what about if the pictures aren't right, and or whatever, the filter's not right and everything. And you literally said, you can change your branding, you're not Coca-Cola. I was like, mind blown. Like, literally, I'm not Coca-Cola. I can do what I want to do. So, and actually, like, that's such a valid point, because I can't imagine that like a year or 2 years or 5 years down the line, my business is going to look the same as it does now in terms of my branding or the colors I use or anything like that. But you've got to start to know that, else you'll just still be waiting like 2 years, 5 years down the line to then decide whether it's right or not. So I think the biggest thing that helps with the Slack community and that helps with the weekly calls and that accountability is you have somebody to report back to. Like, you have to take action on some level, because you won't let us get away with it. So we have got to do something. And you've got to, at the end of the day, like, you have paid this money to invest in yourself and do this course, so it's only you that's losing out. Like, you've got to do something with that. So yeah, 100% going on stories, or even just doing my first post, it was so nerve-wracking, but it's just having that community that really helps.
I remember you sent me, so you guys, because you have a private Slack channel with me, you can always send me your content. And you said, oh, I'm so not sure what to post. Like, can I send you all the captions I've wrote? And I read the caption and I was like, damn, they're better than my captions. Like, what are you waiting for? Send them out. And it is true. Like, it's such a massive change constantly. I mean, a year ago, there wasn't even social shells. And now we have this great community. So I'm super proud of everything you achieved. But feel free to share a bit more what you achieved so far. I mean, you went from not wanting to go on stories to where you are now.
So I'm in the process of developing a new package, which is basically all about helping people with their confidence on camera, helping females with their confidence on camera, because it is such a journey. That's a bit cliche, but it's very much a journey. And I think like your 8-week course gave us the best like springboard and the knowledge and everything that we need. But I've mentioned this before, like if you think that you can spend this money and that's it, like for the rest of your life, like it's a little bit naive thinking in terms of investment. You need to continue investing in yourself and your business and things like that. And literally it opened my mind as well to like really successful entrepreneurs and CEOs and whoever that are still investing like massive amounts of money in terms of their personal development. So I was like, okay, I want to start doing a service that's a bit coachy as well, because I love the coaching element. And I was like, everyone always says to you, you need to think about what you're good at, because you automatically think that you're the only person, like you think that everyone's good at that. And literally, like you've said earlier, like when I did my first story, loads of the girls commented, loads of different people like reached out to me and was like, how do you just talk for 5 minutes? And I was like, I don't know, I just did. Like, I don't know, I just started talking and didn't shut up. So, and I was like, actually, this is something that I could monetize. This is something that I could start offering as a service. So, and that's the package I'm looking at doing now. The mindset stuff is massive as well. And there's a big chunk of mindset in the Social Shell program and things like that. And you have to work on that yourself as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I'm super excited for you. It's so great seeing you grow from like Nadine, I don't want to do a story to like, Nadine, people reached out to me. My story was so good. That is like massive and makes my shop the best shop in the world. And I love that, yeah, the community is really all about people who don't want to be in that 9 to 5, people who feel the same way that I thought, no, like when I started feeling like that, I was like 16 maybe. There was no social media. There was no one I could share. So that was my surrounding. And they were like, what a weirdo are you? This is how life is. Everyone lives like that. Like, just deal with it. And only like since social media, we have the option to connect like that, which I believe is really wonderful. And yeah, I see that makes the most massive difference to me. I feel like to have this community where you feel like, oh, other people, like you said, they share my fears.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what else I think it is as well? Like when you first start your social media business and you put your first post on Facebook or your first post on Instagram, you will literally attract a lot of other social media managers to your page, which is great because you get to kind of like chat with other people in the same business and you get to see what they're posting and stuff. And it's great. But at the same time, I think I would have felt really overwhelmed to the point where I probably would have thought, you know what, this isn't for me. This is too saturated. I can't do it. How am I supposed to be seen? How am I supposed to get my voice heard? Like, I think I would have given up a lot earlier because I would have just felt, you know what, there's no way of kind of going into this market. But actually, there is so much opportunity out there. And obviously with your mindset and the whole abundance thing, and you've kind of got to get your head in the right frame of mind and things like that. But also with the Slack community, again, they will show you that there is so much support there, and that they will have your back, basically, which can also, it means a massive thing as well. Because when you first start your business, to have someone who you genuinely think has got your back and will like a post, even if it is really not very good, then it's just really nice feeling to have.
We have that backup. Yeah, that's true. So one question I always get is, or it's not a question, it's more like, when I ask, what's your biggest struggle now and why, like, haven't you started your own business? Most of the women say, I don't feel confident enough. I don't have the knowledge. I read blogs and I watch some random videos, but I don't have the confidence to offer my services, basically. So how do you feel now when it comes to your own confidence about the knowledge? Do you feel like the social shells have given you that knowledge you needed in order to offer your services?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think especially as well, again, like when you start doing the business and you start attracting other people, you will see that actually a lot of people haven't done any kind of qualification, any course, anything to do with social media, and they're just doing it, which is great for them. But they've probably taken like, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years to actually get to that stage. Whereas I've got to that stage in 8 weeks.
Exactly.
And I think as well, like, I then feel confident selling my product and selling my services because I know I've invested in myself. So it kind of like feels more like ethical, maybe. Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like I've invested in myself to get this knowledge and I know stuff that's going to help other people. So let me help you, kind of thing, rather than feeling like a bit like a fraud because I just spend a lot of time on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are a lot of people out there, and I'm sure they do great work, but just because you're on Instagram doesn't mean that you know everything about the algorithm, about paid marketing, about changes, content creation. So I do believe that makes a massive difference. And I always say, I think I said that to you as well, it's not like becoming a heart surgeon. I mean, you can learn social media. It's not that complicated because everyone just starts out. That's what this program is for. It's not how to make $10,000 in a week or how to become a 7-figure business. It's about how to get started as a social media freelancer. So everyone starts with little to no knowledge and then gets to that point where they feel they can offer their services. Would you feel like that's true, that someone who doesn't have the knowledge yet, they can jump in and then they'll have it after it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think something that I picked up on, like listening to podcasts and things like that and reading loads of books about mindset, is that that's one of the worst things that stops people from getting started, because in their head they're not knowledgeable enough or an expert enough to deliver that content. And actually, like, if you know a piece of information that's more than somebody else knows, then you are considered an expert. Like you know stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, that's our own kind of like imposter syndrome or the fear or whatever you want to call it. Like we just don't feel like we're an expert enough to do that. But how much, like, nobody out there has done years and years, well, some people have, but majority of people have not done years and years of kind of education and skills and have all this expertise. They just make a start on it and learn as they go and just continue investing in themselves. So I think that's really important as well. Don't feel like, oh, I don't know as much as that person, so I can't start it, because actually after 8 weeks of this program, you know more than the vast majority of other people out there that haven't done this or don't have a clue about it. So don't worry about your own ability, I think is really important.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just about like taking action. That's why I have these action plans. That's why I keep pushing you to set the intentions and to write down the wins. It's really just because taking action will create that momentum, which you saw with your stories. Once you start doing those stories, you realize, oh my God, that's so great. And you're going to keep doing it, which is amazing. And yeah, taking the action to, if you really want to get out of your 9 to 5 or your crappy life, I with most of the majority of the women I'm on the calls, they're at that same point where I was when I felt like, okay, I just can't deal with it anymore. But where I felt I was even a step further, like, and you're probably as well. Like I just then quit and left because I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with that anymore. I'll figure out a plan later. Most of the social shells so far have like slowly transitioned in, which I like both. Well, I think it's more secure and safer probably, but I was just like, whatever, let's go to Bali. And you're doing the same thing, but so far it's working out great.
Yeah, so but and I think that's so true as well, because the other thing is, and actually this is coming up on my Instagram feed, I've planned a post about this, is in terms of like a confession for myself, because the other thing is a lot of you get the impression from a lot of other social media managers that they do this full time, so that must mean that they're more of an expert than you, that their business must be better than yours. And actually the other day I was reflecting on it and I thought I still work full time in my job. I'm looking, obviously we're quitting very soon, next month. I've already typed out my resignation letter ready. But that doesn't mean that I'm any less of an expert or any less knowledgeable, or my business is any less worthy than somebody who does this full time. It actually just means that I kick ass at time management. Like I just have to be better at time management. But I think that's the mentality as well, that a lot of people, and if you can quit your job and do this full time, then that's amazing. Like I completely, that's so inspirational. But at the same time, if you need to be realistic with it, like you can do this as a bit of a side hustle and stuff until you can make that transition.
Yeah, and I think like that's the way, or that's what I tried to teach you, is that you can do it on the side by having great time management, good processes and strategies, so everything is scheduled and ready, so that you don't have to worry about all that stuff while you're still in a full-time job. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, definitely. Like it can, at times it can feel very overwhelming with the content, but again, that's the pressure that you kind of put on yourself more than anything. But I think the majority of us were actually in full-time jobs at the time, and we still managed, at the end of the day, you prioritize what you want to do, don't you? And if this is something that's a priority for you, you will make sure that it gets your attention and that you do it. So
yeah, and I love, like, I just read the comment from Alison, and she said that social media is so new and the rules change so quickly. So it is traditional school program might not be the right structure for this type of expertise. And it's so true, because when I studied, there was one subject, social media, and I remember it like it was yesterday. The teacher basically came in and said, like, so there's Facebook, and then there's Twitter, and then there's Instagram. And I felt like this must be a massive joke. And when I worked for companies in their social media management, like no one knew, like up in that point, when I worked as a social media manager, I didn't know what an algorithm was. But I was working for one of the biggest companies in Switzerland, and it was their social media manager. And only now that I constantly learn more about that stuff, I feel like, okay, that's something you, like Alison said, you need to constantly learn. And that's why the social Shell programs as well, because that might be interesting for you guys to know. I re-record the videos constantly. Mark Zuckerberg makes my life not easy. Every time he has a change, I re-record the videos for you guys. So it's not like Alison said in the school where they set the program on the beginning of the year and then it just runs no matter what. So that's something also you guys as a social media manager needs to be up to date constantly, but it will also put you ahead of the herd who just stays constant of their knowledge, because people will see, okay, this Sam, she has so much knowledge. She just told me that the algorithm changed. So I'm really happy with her, going to continue work with her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's key, isn't it? Because if you want somebody to invest in you, then you've got to show that knowledge, and you've got to show that you'll be there and be able to be supportive and things, especially in changes like in the algorithm. Like recently, we all know it, it's changed and we've all had an impact, but actually it's kind of how we adjust to that and reassuring the client as well that we've still got it in hand. It's just something that happens and we know how to deal with that.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Sam. I just realized we were already talking for 20 minutes.
See, this is my issue. I just talk.
I don't think that's something bad. So if the girls who watch this would like to follow you on Instagram, where would they find you?
So my Instagram handle is @thesocialwellbeing, and I'd love to see you there. So yeah.
If they have any questions, can they message you there if they want to know stuff, how you feel, and they don't want to ask it on a live whenever?
Yeah, any questions? Yeah, if you've got any questions about the Social Shell program or anything to do with the business, or anything that you want to ask, my travels, I love talking about that too. Then just message me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, lovely. And I will see everyone else on my next live session. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.